Hi, I'm Eric Verheyden, your CVC for Community Engagement. I was also the one who helped edit the morning show as well as the final show and a few trainings. I'm going to show you the process that I took to edit these films. I will like to add a little disclaimer. I'm not a professional editor. This was a new experience for me and it was a great learning opportunity for me. So some of the things I say in this might not be the best thing to do, but in my situation, it worked. Also, if there are any of you guys who are video professionals out there, please don't judge me too hard in my horrible editing techniques. With that, let's get into it and let's see how I put this thing together. So let's start off with the beginning. How do I get the clips in? So if you notice over here, one last thing. Sorry, before I start, I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. It's a little pricey for some people. So a good free alternative is a program called DaVinci Resolve. It's a great free video editing software. It's used by some movie companies and it's very amazing and great. It's very powerful and I'd recommend you go check it out if you haven't already. So back to how I actually made this thing. So if you look over here on the left side, we see where I have all my scenes and stuff. So it's a little import view. So what I did is I just physically right clicked in here and I just imported all of these videos that I wanted. So if I go to my morning video, I just imported all of these clips. It was pretty nice. It all populated in here on the little morning show project area and it all was all nice and neat. From there, I went into my main and I just physically laid out each of these clips just roughly to see how I wanted them to line up and fit. After that, I could go in with my little hand right here into this main timeline and I could physically shorten and lengthen the duration of each clip. This made it nice so I could cut out, the beginning parts, which might be a little dull, as well as the end parts, which also might be a little dull. After that, what I did is I got these little nice title cards and I decided to put those in as I was going to need them eventually. So I'm actually not an expert at this. I bet you there's a better way to do it than the way I did it, but I'm going to show you the way that I put in these title cards. So I made a new folder over here in the left part. I right clicked. It's called a bin here. So I made a new bin and I called it title cards. And then here I just did file, new, and then I did a legacy title. After that, I could put in the name. Put in the name, and then now I have my little title here. It opens up this little separate window, which I can use to just write in my title that I want. The default Adobe font is not the best. So what I decided to do is I selected this and you see this font family. That's where you actually select your font. So let's just choose something else. Looks like I misspelled some stuff. There we go. This font style is like the bold. There's gonna be more here if that font allows it. After you do that, you can just go back to the little selection tool. You can just physically drag this around. You can also resize it. Pro tip, if you're holding shift while you're on a corner, it'll keep the aspect ratio. So this is me holding shift. And then if I stop holding shift, I can change the aspect ratio and make it like super skinny. Holding shift, not holding shift. It's a cool little tool if you want to keep the text looking nice. After we have our text, we can simply just drag it in onto the timeline. And then there it is. It pops up right in our video. Sorry, I'm getting text messages. After that, we have our main video structure. What I decided to do is to keep everything all nice and neat. There's something called nesting. So nesting is like putting all of this work into like one thing. So you see how there's a bunch of these different clips right here? If I nest them, it combines all these clips down into like one main clip, which I can deal with. So what I did is I just highlighted everything and I just right click and nested it. And that's why on the main timeline, this main only shows up as one thing instead of a bunch of those little individual cut up things. After that, the next thing that I focused on was making this little film effect. So if we actually get rid of this film effect, you can see this video looks pretty boring and bland. If we just add it back, it adds that nice 20s vibe. So this is actually very easy to do. What you can do is you can Google for videos of like real film. Hi. So what they would do is they'll just film, funny enough as that sounds, and you can just find this online. So I just found a nice little clip of it. It's only a few seconds long. That's fine because I just copied and pasted it a bunch of times. After this, I just put it back into my main timeline in its nest. And then from here, it'll probably look like this. Just completely override the previous thing below it. What you need to do is you need to go up here into your effect controls. You need to change your blend mode. So if we do something else, it looks weird. What I find is the best is to multiply. Now, something else that you might need to do is some of these film effects aren't perfect. So I needed to do a little bit of color correction. If I didn't do this, you can see, it's a little see-through right here on the black borders. It's a little easier if I show you back on the main film sequence. Yeah, you can see right here, it's a little lighter here on the edges. So I can just physically take this little curvature tool and just make that not the case. It looks all nice. And so that's how I got this amazing little film effect. After that was the music. So the music actually took a while to figure out. It's sort of hard to find a good track, good piece of music. It took me and my brother a good amount of time to figure it out, but eventually we got a piece that we think was good. And then we just simply dragged it in. Unfortunately, that one track was a little short, so I did do some splicing magic within here. So that's why that little artifact is there. Because I needed to duplicate the song, and I actually needed to do it one more time to get it straight to the end. This one I hit a little better. And it's harder to tell. But that mainly just comes down to having your piece of music, then dragging in another one of the same one, and sort of just trying to line it up until it sort of sounds right. Once I have the music, luckily since this film doesn't have any people talking, it's only the music. I only had to worry about doing audio adjustments to the music to making sure it wasn't too loud. So the thing I like to normally strive for in audio is negative 12 decibels. If you strive for 0 decibels, then it's going to clip when you have loud noises. If you're at negative 12 decibels, you can still have louder noises and you have plenty of buffer room right here. You don't want your audio to clip because then you start to lose resolution. So if you see when I play, this bar is going to be right around negative 12. So this allows for anything louder, has a little bit of buffer room, and then if things get a little quieter, it's not too quiet. This little beginning sequence was a nice, easy thing to drag in. Again, it sort of looked like this, looked bland, so I just decided to add that little film sequence on top of it that I showed earlier. And this is just a little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown I got from Google, and it worked out pretty well. I didn't do anything special in between here. It just sort of worked out nicely, the transition, so I'm very thankful for that. If we go out here to the end, these credits and this little disclaimer, these are the same types of titles as the ones we saw in here. So they're done the exact same way. So I hope this gave you a little sneak peek preview on how I edited this morning's show. One last thing that I forgot to add is with any of these clips, there's always these effect controls. This allows you to do a bunch of stuff like scale it up and down, and move it around. But with that, I hope it was informational, and I hope you learned a little bit about how I made this film and how I edited it all together. I hope you guys enjoy this evening show. It's going at 6:30, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of Conclave. With that, thank you for watching my training, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.